Bournemouth 2, Manchester United 2, 2 drop points, robbed by VAR. I certainly think so. I will definitely be making the claim for that tonight. I do not agree, absolutely 100%. I do not agree with that last call that Maguire saw red, simply because of the fact we had our own penalty claim. Amad Diallo was taken out in the box. They called no pen. And I think that their offense was worse than Maguire's offense, and Maguire was shown a straight red, and a penalty was given. Now, just to point this out real quick, none of that makes up for the team performance today from the players. None of that is an excuse for how we were operating and performing on the pitch, but certainly, obviously, that does have a big impact in the game, and it was sort of a deciding factor in sort of the final result as well. So, I think VAR today, absolute disgrace. I think we were robbed, 100%. I won't say that we absolutely 100% played in such a manner that I feel overwhelmingly that we deserved to win the match, because I thought we were quite sloppy. We weren't up to the races. We were hitting, I don't know, we were doing this thing where it just seemed like our brains were working faster than our feet. We were rushing a lot of things. We never seemed quite comfortable. They were pressing us, and we were trying to play quick out of it, but a lot of things was just, I don't know. We were very off today. Very off today. A lot of the players very off. I mean, listen, Bruno put the pen away. That one was definitely 100% the pen. No questions, no doubt about it. Doesn't need a replay. But that, and then obviously we got the goal from the corner kick, which was an own goal. I thought Maguire did score it. And on their goal, I mean, listen, that one was coming a little bit for a little bit of time, simply because of the fact we were not stepping up. Okay? They were taking a bunch of shots from outside the box, and they were more than happy to. And a lot of the times we were not stepping to the player on the outside of the box, and he ended up scoring one. He almost scored another one, which was an absolute rocket. And, you would say after the first one, which was on the ground and a lot sort of softer than the second one, you would think that you would go and be like, hey, let's not let this guy shoot again from outside the box, because he just scored one. And he's probably the most dangerous player that they got in that aspect. And we were very fortunate in that part that he smacked the crossbar and that it hit Lemon's arm and went out of bounds, because it could have hit him in the back and went to the back of the goal. So, but we do got a lot to sort of break down and talk about. So please make sure you're smashing the like button. Let me know what you're thinking about the match and what you're feeling. And subscribe if you're new and you enjoy the content, you enjoy the channel, and you enjoy the community. Okay? But let me get to the chat. All right. I can't really see from the beginning, so I'm just gonna jump in somewhere. I think lads are here. Sebastian, Renoso, Axe, all discussing. Sebastian said absolute bullshit refereeing. How is that foul on Ahmad not one? Well, that's what I think we're all making the case for, and that's what we're all saying pretty much, because I will sit here and listen, we're going to have to talk about our players' performance. We're going to have to talk about the team's performance. But for me, I mean, I think the Ahmad one is a penalty. I asked for a penalty. I definitely thought it was a penalty. I think it's definitely a foul. And they didn't give it to us. Okay, that's, you go, whatever, it's a penalty, they didn't give it to us, whatever. The match is still sort of there to be won. It's on a level playing field. The part that makes that more egregious is to then turn around after not giving us that penalty, and then to give Bournemouth a penalty for one that I will deem the contact was less worse from Maguire than it was on Diallo. The contact on Diallo was way worse, and it was definitely way more of a foul than the contact that Harry Maguire made on the Bournemouth player. And they gave a penalty and a red card, and they viewed it by VAR on both instances, and they still went ahead and did that. And this is why VAR is, I call it for what it is. It's match fixing in real time. That's what VAR is, okay? That's what VAR was introduced, Okay, they could tell you for whatever reasons they want to tell you. VAR was introduced only for one specific reason, so they can match fix the games in real time. Okay, so they have better control over match fixing a game, because that's what we just witnessed. We just witnessed match fixing. That's what that was. This, and nothing about the VAR or the referee excuses any part of our game. I'm not making excuses for the way we played, but we were still in a period of time, okay? They scored one goal from open play, okay? They got handed the other one by a penalty. We should have had a penalty. We scored our goals the way that were deserved, okay? We definitely 110% was deserved the penalty, and then we scored from a set piece. Okay, maybe it's luck that it was an own goal, but it was still us taking a corner. Ball was put into a good area. Ball was hit well. It came off a Bournemouth defender's head, and it went into the back of the net. It's football. It happens, okay? We were sloppy. We were all over the place. Some of our players were sleeping, but that doesn't make up for shitty VAR and refereeing and essentially match fixing. Because that's what we witnessed. We witnessed match fixing in real time. And we witness it almost on a daily, on a weekly basis, okay? It doesn't just happen to United. I'm not one of these people that says everything's always against United. It happens all over the place. It happens in multiple games to different teams. They're constantly match fixing in real time. That's what VAR is, okay? That's what VAR is. Renosa says the contact to me was almost identical to the penalty claim at the other end. I would double down, triple down, quadruple down that the contact on Diallo was worse than the contact made on that Harry Maguire made on the Bournemouth defender. Their foul was more egregious than Harry Maguire's foul. Maguire gets a straight red, and they get a penalty, and we don't. So, we just got to live by it. And, part of this, and this is where I will turn it back onto the team a little bit, okay? This is where I turn it back on the team a little bit. If the team played better, and we, listen, the first half, okay, the second half was a disaster, okay? The second half was a disappointment. It was a letdown for sure, okay? Because the first half was halfway decent. We had some very good chances. I felt like we definitely should have had a couple goals. I think we had the better chances than Bournemouth. Not to say that Bournemouth didn't have chances. It was a fairly open game like I expected. It was end to end like the first time. It always is. It's always sort of a back and forth between us. It's the way we play football, and their identity and the way they play football and the way we play football. It's always an open game. It's always sort of an end to end game. I expected this to happen, okay? They had their fair share of chances, but I think in the first half, we had more, and we had the better ones. And we definitely should have scored. It shouldn't have been 0-0. They might make an argument for them as well, but I think we had the better opportunities. We definitely should have taken that. We came out in the second half, and you're obviously looking for us to take up, the next step, okay? To go up to the next level from where we are, because we were pretty decent. I was like, okay, we need to just, some of these opportunities, let's create a couple more of those, but let's actually put the ball into the back of the net now, and we came out and we dropped a level or two into the second half, and it was just fairly disappointing. We ended up, funnily enough, even though we dropped a level, we managed to score 2 goals. So the game was a bit weird like that, if I might say. Sebastian says, bro, I agree. The one from Maguire was a foul, but the one on Ahmad was more obvious. There was no real VAR check. Clearly, the higher instances don't want us to close the gap on City FFS. Worst referee this season. Listen, I don't know what it is. Maybe they're just shit at their job. Maybe they don't understand the rules. Maybe there is, a more sinister thing in that they just hate us. Who knows? Because I don't know these people. I don't know their affiliations. But all I can really tell you, and all the conclusion that I can come to, is that VAR and the refereeing was not on point today. There was 2 similarly calls. They made 2 totally different decisions, and that to me equals, okay, take that plus that equals shit refereeing, which leads to just a shit conversation you know, feeling for football fans and then coming out of the match. Because, I mean, instead of actually fully digesting our team's performance and sort of just focusing on that, you know, VAR has taken at least a good, you know, 35-40% of the controversy and focus. And understandably so. Why? But, you know, Maguire was behind their striker while Bournemouth's defender was in front of Ahmad. Pretty stupid justification. I don't know what does that have to do with anything? What does that have to do with anything? You're making contact in the box. You're holding a player back. Doesn't matter if you're in front of him, behind him. You could be sideways. You could be on top of him. I don't think there's anything in the rule book that clearly states that if a player is behind or a player is in front, that then determines if it's a foul or not. So, Access should have scored more in the first half. I agree with that. We should have. We needed to. And we needed a better team performance. And for these scenarios, one of the things that I would say to the lads, if I was in charge of the team, is I would always make this a constant point. Because my thing is, we know the refereeing is shit. And, you know, there's always a situation, okay, listen, as a former player, not a professional, but as a former player of the game, okay, you go into matches and sometimes you just don't know what it is. Maybe the ref's wife cheated on him, you know, maybe he's not getting any poom poom or something, you know, who the fuck knows what it is? Maybe, you know, maybe he's just an asshole. Whatever it is, that day they just decide that, you know, they're just going to be dickheads in the match. They're going to call everything against you, you know, whatever it is. It is up to you. It's up to you as players. You have to do the utmost you possibly can to try and make sure that you cover yourself from all sort of, you know, aspects, including the referee. So, like, if the referee, or if they want to be assholes and they want to, like, just give most of the fouls to the other team or give away a cheap penalty, okay, there's nothing that we can actually do about that. You know, we can't just, like, beat up the referee on the pitch or anything like that. We got to do, as a team, as players, we have to take care of our shit. And when I say take care of our shit, put the ball into the back of the net 3 times. So then when the referee does give us a red card, or does give us a penalty against us, and doesn't give us a penalty for us, well, we already did more than they can do against us. Because we've put the ball into the back of the net 3 times. We've stopped them from scoring, okay, which we didn't do on the first chance. The first goal that they scored, we didn't do a good job of that. We let them score 6 minutes after we scored. Not, you know, can't happen. Cannot happen. It's, you know, it was lazy, unacceptable defense on that one. On the first goal that they scored, okay? But you don't let them score. We score. We take care of ourselves. And the ref and them and the opposing team can then go fuck off. All right? But when we show up and we are not sort of firing on all cylinders and we are not taking care of our end, we leave ourselves exposed, okay? Basically, with our pants around our ankles to get fucked. All right? With no Vaseline. All right, well, which is pretty much what happened, okay? Because today's performance, I mean, I don't know why we were rushing so much at so many different times for no good reason. You know, I ask constantly for the team to play fast, to play quick. I want them to play quick. And they were doing that in large parts. And I understand that Bournemouth were pressing and we need to move the ball quick and we need to do sort of one-touch passes, quick little triangles. I understood that part. But there was a lot of moments where our players specifically had more time than we were probably getting. They didn't need to do a one-touch pass. They didn't need to do some crazy one-touch volley over the back of their head to some dude, to one of our players that's like 25 yards away, not looking. You don't need to do that. But they were doing it. They were forcing a lot of things. I don't know why. You know, it was almost like we couldn't find a balance, and it was like our brain was going faster than our feet, and we couldn't keep up with the pace of the game. We couldn't actually handle the intensity, the speed of the game. We were suffering because we were trying to play quick. We were trying to basically meet the the pressure of the press from Bournemouth and counteract that with moving the ball quickly, and it was just leading to like sloppiness all over and poor execution. Some of the decisions from the players, again, I think in the first half I can remember a specific instance where I don't know who was running on the left-hand side. It might have been Diallo. But there was Mbeumo making a run between two defenders straight down the middle, and Cunha, for whatever reason, decides he's going to try and make a weird angled pass out to the wing instead of just slotting it through the center of the two defenders and giving it to Mbeumo, who's running through on goal, which is obviously the better, easier decision to make. And these are some of the things. These are just a couple things that have gone out through the match, okay? Oh, the rules are. Okay. But listen, I don't know if there's anything about that in the rule. I think that's just refereeing discretion. And I think that they, whether it's a bias or they're just shit at their job, or maybe both, I think that was a disgrace. Ultimately, it was a disgrace. Because, listen, I will say this. This is how I feel about it. I felt like Ahmad was fouled. I felt like it was a penalty, okay? If you give us the penalty, I can't complain about the Maguire thing, okay? Because I think, again, they're very similar. I still feel like Ahmad's was worse. I felt like the contact was worse. There was more intent and more contact. And he did more force to try and hold Ahmad back, okay, than Maguire actually did, all right? The obvious problem is you don't give us that one, you give them that one, okay? It's either you don't give either or you give both. And that way everybody walks away without sort of, we don't have to do this. We don't have to spend 30 to 40 minutes talking about VAR and shitty refereeing. But clearly, I mean, it just, it doesn't make sense. I mean, listen, there's people that hate us out there, okay? There's people that are gonna, they talk about us getting the benefit of the calls, whatever. All the rivals, Arsenal and all these other fans, they be bitching that we get all the calls and we've been robbing people and whatever. So they're not going to come and defend us, right? But as a football person, as a neutral sort of football person, okay? You only need two eyes and half a brain, okay? If you watch the sport, if you play the sport a little bit, you know that whole sequence was bullshit, okay? Because it's either they're not penalties or they're penalties. You don't have two instances that are the same and you make a call for one and you don't make a call for the other. So Maguire was understood as much more influential because the striker was already ahead of Maguire. I don't agree with that. I think the contact sort of came while he was on his way passing him. So I don't agree that he was in front. I don't agree that the striker was already ahead of Maguire. And I will make the same case because Ahmad is cutting in on from the left side. So he's running sideways and bro is standing here. So I could make an argument that he's already ahead of him based on the angle that he's running in. He made the same thing. He grabbed Ahmad here. He grabbed Ahmad from here. So is he not behind him as well? That's why I don't go by that rule. I don't even think it's clarified like that. Right, I know what Axe is doing, but I understand he's trying to explain it based on the rules, but I don't even think the rule is written down like that. I don't even think it's judged like that. I don't. We're only left with Euro in heaven now, by the way. Well, Lisandro Martinez should be back, Sebastian, because we are not playing for another 24 days. So I mean, Lisandro should be back by that time. I mean, if he's not back, then, I don't know what to say. But Lisandro Martinez should be back. So Harry Maguire will be gone, and it is a straight red. So I don't... Did they still give 3-match bans for that? Or is it based on, how dangerous it was? Because quite clearly, obviously, that wasn't dangerous. It was just sort of what they deem as last man through on goal. So is he still going to get a 3-match ban for that? Because I don't know how they operate that. I know. Amo was not great today, and Buemo as well. Yep, I mean, a lot of our team wasn't great. Delo was fucking awful and sleeping, and I don't know what he was doing. And was it in the first half when he took a shot from like 37 yards out and made me want to grab 2 pencils and stick them in my eyes? Because these are the little things that I talk about that people like to gloss over and don't want to talk about it because it's not like the glamorous fucking thing to talk about and have a conversation about. But I think it matters. So I think they matter a whole lot. Those little things like that bother the shit out of me from my team. I actually hold them in much more regard than some of the bigger, talking points, tactics and all this stuff and whatever. Why is our right back making a decision to shoot from 37 yards out when Cunha is in front of him, Bruno is in front of him, or Mbeumo is in front of him? There's basically only the defensive line. There's like no midfield. And so why is our right back, why does he think that he should be taking a shot from 37 yards out when obviously the right and clear play is to not shoot the fucking ball, but to pass the ball on the ground to your teammate who's already facing you with back to goal, waiting for the ball to come to his feet? He is an attacking player, and you want the ball to go to your attacking player in attacking position so he can do an attacking movement, and maybe we fucking score a goal. Or we create a chance to score a goal, and somebody else puts it away. Little things like this. I think Cass getting the yellow card early on was kind of a bit of a problem because it hindered him a bit, okay? And listen, I think he did sort of well in terms of we sort of expect him with his expertise and his experience to not get a second red, okay? But I think that didn't help us because I did feel like at times Cass, not Cass specifically, but we were almost basically playing with 1.5 midfielders because Cass could only go into certain tackles. He couldn't go in as hard anymore. He had to be a little bit more like a passenger. Now, some people might say, well, maybe we should have subbed him out and put in Ugarte. Okay, maybe so. And yes, okay, but I would also make the argument that I don't have any faith and I don't have any trust in Ugarte and I don't believe in him. I don't believe in him for him to come onto the pitch and help us and have a big impact. So, to me, if I was the manager, I'd feel a little bit stuck in that situation as well because I'd be like, well, I got Cass on a yellow. He can't do to the full extent tackles that he usually does that we need him to do. But then it's sort of like, it's sort of like picking, like, would you rather step on, Legos or, fucking, I don't know, like hot coal or something. I mean, they're both gonna fucking hurt. You're both gonna be in pain. I guess one is worse than the other, but that's just how I kind of look at it. I'm like, well, Cass on a yellow not being able to do what he can really do because now he's on he's got to go half hard. Or we sub him out, we put in Ugarte, and, I don't really have faith in this guy, and I don't really believe in him, and so I kind of feel like it's a bit of a downgrade. What do you do there? Some people will say you gotta put in Ugarte and give him the chance. Sure, okay, I guess. I'm just saying that I'm not fully convinced that would have improved our situation for what we were seeing from the team. You know what I mean? So, they're just shit at their job, man. We see it every week in almost all games. Well, the conspiratorial cynic in me would like to say that they're going about match fixing, and so they come across as they are all just shit at their job because it's happening every week because they are match fixing, okay? But I guess the benefit of the doubt side of me wants to say, well, okay, they're just shit at their job, like. The refereeing is just shit. The rules are shit, and the Premier League is just a mess in that regard. By the way, guys, please smash a like on the video, and if you're new, we are trying to get to 3,500 subscribers. So if you enjoyed the content, join the community, get involved in the chat. By the way, all new people are welcome. Okay. What what's the function of VAR then? I'm telling you what the function of VAR is. I've been saying it, not just for us. I've been saying it from week to week, okay? Last time, in the last couple matches, the function of VAR is to match fix in real time. That's what I feel. That's what VAR makes me feel like. You know, you watch shit back. They don't call back. You don't see the... Listen, we're watching it on TV, okay? Most of us. Unless the people that are going to the stadium, which they know even fucking less. But listen, we're on TV, okay? The VAR is reviewing shit. We can't even get a fucking replay. We can't even see what VAR is looking at. We don't even get a look of it in real time of what VAR is viewing. Why is that? Why is that? Because other sports, okay, you watch the referees watching it, you watch the same shit that they're watching, okay? And in ours specifically, if it's like an out offsides, okay, they used to show us them drawing the lines. Why don't they show that anymore? I thought that was actually quite good. They should be showing us how they're fucking doing it. We should be hearing the communication between the VAR room and the referee in real time, not bringing up on that stupid ass show that they have on Sky Sports with Liam Gallagher or whoever the fuck it is 2 weeks later, where he comes and he goes, oh yeah, they did make a mistake, mate. They made a mistake, mate. And it's like, oh, well, that's good. You admitted it 2 weeks later, but that's not bringing my fucking points back. That's not helping nobody. And it's not helping nobody because you say they make a mistake. They go and make a mistake again a week later. And they do it in multiple games. So, you know, to me, the whole thing is a fucking facade. It's fake. It's bullshit. It's all, you know, it's just, it's fake. Like, it's all like a show. Okay? We should, for me, if they want to be transparent and they want to make it at least more likable, or at least get rid of the claims that maybe that they are fucking match fixing and that, you know, there's like extreme bias and they're just, you know, doing things out of the sake for doing things. We should be able to watch the VAR in real time. We should be able to hear the VAR in real time. We should be able to be looking at what he's looking at and hearing what he's saying in real time. Not have it hidden in a fucking room and then we never hear about it, or we hear about it 2 weeks later. Ahmad was definitely ahead of the striker. Isn't it 2 games for non-violent straight red? That I don't know. I would have to look that up. We played bad. We did play bad. We played bad. Okay, we played bad. You know, there was a lot of moments in the game as well. You know, listen, the first half was 50% possession, so I think it was sort of both ways. Okay, and you know, we're judging ourselves more so than we're talking about Bournemouth. Okay, I thought in the first half, I think it was, you know, pretty even, okay, in terms of chances created, but like ball possession and stuff like that, and just like the general flow of the game, I thought it was pretty even to that. I thought we had some of the better opportunities in front of goal, and I felt like ours is a bit more dangerous, and I felt like, you know, we should have had at least 1 or 2, and you know, I felt a bit sort of just let down that we didn't figure out how to get, you know, out of, because we had, off the top of my head, I remember we had like 2 or 3 very good opportunities. One was basically almost cleared off the line, and I was just like, man, how have we not scored yet? They created some good opportunities as well, but the second half we sort of lost all, you know, we lost momentum, we lost control, and you know, I wanted sort of Sesko to come on at some point. I don't know. I was like, we need a change. I was like, we've come out in the second half. We've dropped down instead of going up. We needed to turn up 1 more level. And I was just like, I'm sort of there again. Like I'm watching the match. I'm getting this feeling like we need something to come on and change the game for us and give us an impact. Okay? And like, you know, just change the dynamic of the game somehow, some way. And, you know, so my first thought, I think as many people is, all right, get Benjamin Sesko on because he's going to give us something different. But, I mean, that didn't last too long. And we didn't really, you know, again, when we're getting Ben on, for me, the main idea and target is, as soon as you get bet on, we should be whipping balls into the fucking box from like every angle, at every position, and every player, like every opportunity we get. That didn't really happen. And, you know, maybe we were getting, overrun in the midfield. I think from a tactical side, I think the only thing that you could maybe do is you would have to sub somebody out. A winger or something. Maybe like, you know, one of the attackers, like a Diallo, somebody. And maybe throw in a third midfielder and have 3 midfielders in there and try and secure it that way. But when I look at the squad depth, when I look at our team, this is why I always have this. It's a feeling I don't like to have, but they just don't. They don't fill me with confidence. Like I don't like our bench. Because I sit there and I look at it and I go, okay, if we play good, if we're winning the game, the bench, that bench doesn't fucking matter. The bench is fine. Who cares? But I'm always sitting there thinking like, well, what happens if we go into a game like we did today, or maybe against Newcastle, and like we need a change, or we're not playing the best, and we need somebody to like come off the bench and sort of pick the team up a step or two, and have some, and I'm just like, we have no midfielders. Ugarte doesn't do it for me. He doesn't sell it for me. You have somebody like Tyler Fredrickson. I mean, like, I don't really know about him. I don't think he's really got it. Okay, maybe we should give them the opportunity. Fine. Like, I can agree to that point, but this is the thing that I argue against Ineos. I don't like these sorts of gambles. Okay? Because, yes, we are, in third. We blew the chance to go 7 points up, 4 points behind City. And we've allowed an opportunity for Villa, okay, to sort of close the gap, and even Liverpool to a certain extent, or at least, bring it back down a couple points now. And this is the thing, like, I look at the squad and I'm just like, we've gotten away with it for a large part of the season, I would say, but there's always going to be instances where we're basically not going to be able to get away with it, and Newcastle was definitely one of them. And today was sort of one of them as well, because we needed somebody to come and give us an extra step. Now, maybe Carrick could have done something with Xerxes or whatever, but I think the big issue was our midfield. And we don't have options for the midfield, really. I think Mason Mount came on. He played, only a few minutes. I said this before the match. I don't expect Mason Mount to be able to play any more than, 15 minutes max. Probably get a good 10 minutes, so... And is Mason Mount really like I'll ask somebody in the chat can answer. You guys can answer me and sort of come back on what I'm saying. But is Mason Mount would you consider Mason Mount like an option? Like, okay, we need to sort of maybe kind of secure the midfield a little bit more. Maybe we'll throw in an extra midfielder, so we'll have 3 midfielders, and we'll take somebody else out from a different position. But do you guys think that's a good tactical change? Like, do you guys think that that's helpful for us in that situation, that we would have basically Casemiro, Meno, and Mason Mount playing a midfield 3? Because I don't know, I think Mount could help in some aspects, but I view Mount more of an attacking player. I don't know if Mount is necessarily going to be able to help us get the ball back and also retain possession. And I felt like that's what we needed. You have to give Ugarte 6 games. Ugarte was actually shite when he came on. But that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. And this is what I've been saying. Ugarte, I think Ugarte can do you a job if you tell him, stay in the back, defend, and just sit in the back. But when Ugarte comes on and he needs to play basically centre mid, which is we need you to do both sides of the game, he can't go forward. He picked up the ball, and what was he doing? He was jogging with the ball, and while he's jogging forward, he's looking at Bruno Fernandes like this, who's fucking next to him making a run. He's looking at Bruno for a good 5 minutes, and he's just looking at Bruno, basically waiting for Bruno, because he's like, Bruno, You know what he's doing when he's doing that. You know what he's saying? He's saying, Bruno, please take the ball because I don't want the ball in my feet because I can't fucking do anything with it. Please take it because you're Bruno and you take this responsibility. You create the attack. I can't do it. Please take the ball from me. That's what he's saying without using words. Okay? When you have the ball in your feet and you are a midfielder, a central midfielder, and you are jogging and you are looking to your left at the guy that is literally 5 feet away from you, and you're essentially like just begging for him to take the ball. You're basically begging for him to take 2 steps in front of you so you can pass the ball and give it to him and pass off the responsibilities of the ball to Bruno. And that's where I say this is why he cannot be here. He is fairly limited. We cannot have players like this in our team if we are going to push for greater and beyond. Okay? Ugarte needs to be match fit. Did you do anything, create many chances today? Fucking rob us better. Sanchi with a super chat. Thank you, my friend. Greatly appreciated. Our weakest link is Ahmad. Believe it. Well, he didn't have a good... Listen, there's a thing about Ahmad that I don't really understand, and I need to... I want to understand it. My father said the same thing. I was watching the match with him, and I agree with him. And I've said it before as well. There are matches, for whatever reason, and I don't know if this is a tactical thing or this is just like Ahmad just not being able. He goes sort of in and out. Some games he's up for it, and some games he's not. Okay, but in a game like today, I would have expected Ahmad to be a lot more direct. A lot more with an intention to drive at the Bournemouth defenders, okay? And really, like, have a go to get to their box, or run down the line and get to the box and then, like, cross the ball in, right? Or cut in with the left foot and have a shot. But he does tend to do this from time to time. I don't know what it is. But there are matches that we play that he does the total opposite of that. He doesn't do it at all. And what he does do is he checks in a lot and he gets the ball in his feet and he never looks to turn and go forward with the ball. He just receives it and passes it backwards, or he holds it up and passes it backwards instead of trying to dribble, instead of trying to drive at the defender, instead of trying to get, sort of to the byline. Or on the side of the box and get the ball in. I don't know why he does this, because I think, for me, Ahmad is the most effective and he has the most brilliant games when he is ultimately just doesn't play scared at all, and he's confident and he drives at opposition. I think when he's made his mind up and he's like... He's just feeling it, and he's just having a go at opposition. They usually they struggle very much to contain him. They struggle to stop him. It's not like he's getting absolutely obliterated by defenses. It's not like he's losing the ball all match. It doesn't really happen. But when he plays a game like this, he's quite ineffective, and I think it hurts the team as well. Because we sort of rely on him to create. I don't understand why sometimes he has games where he's just like, on fire. He's just fucking going constantly, consistently. He's just like going at the defenders, just fucking giving them being a fucking nuisance. Like, the defender's probably sitting there like, this fucking guy is relentless. He's just constantly coming at him. He's not giving me time to breathe. And then, we play a match like today, and it's like he doesn't do that. He just constantly coming short, constantly just passing the ball backwards, not taking, really any opportunity to drive at the defender, and take them on 1v1 and challenge them and, make them nervous. So, the first half was good, yeah. Sebastian says, cheers, Eric. Just wanted to tune in after that absolute steal. Almost 3 a.m. here. I'm off. See you soon, mate. Yep, be good, Sebastian. See ya. I don't know if we'll be live tomorrow, but we'll be back live in a couple days. So be on the lookout, Sebastian. Appreciate you stopping by. Brother, access number 7 made no difference. Just saying. Well, I mean, what's he gonna do at that point? Coming on. Forget about the number 7. That number's been long gone by now. But I mean, in that situation, I mean, what's he gonna do? Because I don't think that was necessarily our issue. But also at that time, you're coming on, we got a man down. It's no longer fucking ideal situation to be in. So once we get the red card, we were fucked ultimately. In that there wasn't anything we were really going to be able to do after that. When it was no longer 11v11. Carrick has not been backed. Like Marine was not backed to by Glinios, says Sadiq. Well, yeah, to a certain extent. I mean, I think, I won't go as far as Carrick has been back because ultimately he's not a permanent manager and it's kind of hard to back a permanent manager. But I do think that ultimately, as a consequence to the team as a whole, because I said this at any point, I said it doesn't matter who's the manager. Regardless of the manager, more so of the picture to the squad, okay? To the betterment of the team as a whole, It was a disgrace, and I still think it was a bit wrong move that we did not sign anybody in January, and it wasn't acceptable at the time. I said it wasn't acceptable in November to do it, and I had some hopes that they would do it because I felt like they had to do something for Ruben, and they were behind Ruben still at that point. They sacked Ruben, they bring in Carrick, and they did fuck all in January. And I think in this match, even some of the other matches that we got wins away, you can see we're not perfect. You can see we need work. You can see we need better quality. You can see we need upgrades, or we need players in positions that we don't have, that we could use, like we could be using them right now. We might be able to get away with it for this season, but we're not going to be able to get away with it next season. So, this is a crap squad. No proper backs, and please don't give Harry a new contract. Says Sadiq, I watched the Copa, and he was amazing. What is Copa? Stay hydrated. Copa America. What? The Copa America. Let me see if I get some of the post-match quotes, because I want to see what Carrick's telling us, okay? I want to see his thoughts on the match, okay? Carrick on Ahmad and Cunha penalty box contacts. Carrick said, for me, it's 2 penalties. I think for you, your mom, and everybody's mom, my mom, the whole planet's moms, okay? Because we have a saying here in America, it's you and everyone's mother, or something like that. Right? Yeah, something like that. Knows that was a pen. You and everyone's mom. Yeah, that's what we say here. I don't even know what the fuck that actually means, but it's just something Americans say. You and everybody's mom knows it was a penalty, okay? Carrick saying, my first thought is the referee definitely got one of them wrong. The Mateus one he gives. The second one on Ahmad he doesn't, which is, I think, almost identical, really. 2 hands on someone in the box, and they go over, and they're in control of the ball. For me, it's 2 penalties, but it'd be interesting to see which one he acknowledges as wrong, whether the one we got or the one that we didn't get. Well, see, this is where I disagree with Carrick here, because I listen, the one on Cunha, he's pulled his shirt, okay? He's put hands on him, but he's pulled his shirt, okay? Pulling of the shirt inside of the box and Cunha going to ground, there's automatically always a penalty. I don't agree with the angle he's taken here. For me, unless I'm reading this wrong. Because he's saying whether the one we got or the one we didn't get. I don't know why Carrick's comparing the Cunha to the Diallo one. Because really, I think the comparison should be the Diallo one to the Bournemouth one. Because I think the Cunha one's in its own lane. He's it was... There's no argument about that. That one was clear as day a penalty. The other two were a bit different. So I don't know why he's I don't know why Carrick's comparing them, because to me that doesn't make sense either. The last time Stuart Atwell officiated a Manchester United game, Lisandro Martinez's goal for Manchester United at Burnley earlier this month should not have been ruled out by referee Stuart Pratwell. The Premier League's key match incidents KMI panel has said. Well, this is what I said before. They come out with, and they have all these different names. This is the first time I'm hearing of what the fuck is a KMI panel, okay? You got a KMI panel, you got this the stupid referee show on Sky Sports with fucking Liam Gallagher or whoever the fuck that guy is, okay? They come out 2 weeks later and they're like, oopsies, the referee totally fucked up the call. Our bad. It was it was our bad. We fucked it up. We suck, guys. We suck. Our bad. And then they turn around and they do it the next day again in another game to other teams. And they just do it all over the place. And at this point, I don't know. It just feels like there's no way it could be so bad that like it's not on purpose. Like, I kind of feel like it's on purpose. I feel like, to be extremely cynical, like, I feel like they do it to stir fucking controversy so that it's talked about, so that there's, like, more interest and shit. I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense, but I just feel like, how incompetent can it be that, like, it's bad? You're telling me you can't do anything to fix it. You haven't tried anything to fix it. You haven't, like, I don't know, given the referees more clarification. You haven't tried to do anything. You haven't sent them to, like, a fucking extra refereeing school on, I don't know, on a Wednesday when they're not refereeing. I don't know. I don't know. Brian and Bumbo need to change position instead of false 9. Glad we kept heads. 1 lost 10 men. Lenny Oro done very well. 6.3 Harry Maguire not fault for penalty. Well, listen. He was beat. Okay, I'm watching this here. Okay, I'm watching the foul again. From our side. All right. If I can bring it up on screen, I'll bring it up on screen. All right. Let me see if I could do this. Let me see if I can be cool. Where is it? Is this gonna work? I don't know if it's gonna work. Huh? Okay. I don't know. Nope. I can't do it. Don't worry about it. I don't know if the sound... Oh, okay, no sound is fine. Brown Knight is here, says, what did I miss? 25 watching, only 10 likes. Well, that's what I'm saying, but, I don't know. Get the likes up. Come on, people. I mean, I know. Listen, I know. We didn't get the 3 points. Everybody's down. Everybody's pissed off at the referee and VAR. But, like, come on. Andresito says, a lot went wrong tonight. But the upside, under Carrick, we are 7 wins, 2 draws, 1 L. Cheers, everyone. Happy Friday. Well, thank you, Andresito, and happy Friday to you, a brother. Don't bother, Eric. They'll strike you for copyright. They might, actually. You're right. You're right. Although I think if it has no sound and it's a GIF, so I don't know. I think if it's like only a couple seconds, it'd be all right. But you're right, they did get me for that one time, so fucking. Okay, I apologize if I pronounce this wrong, but it's it's Idul Fitr. I definitely fucking butchered that. I apologize, but happy. I can't do it. A happy happy Idul. All right. I'm gonna be quite honest. I don't know what that is, so you could tell me. I'm not familiar. I'm not familiar. But listen, all right. Areola said, I think the actions on Ivan Nielsen and Cunha were penalties because the defenders were beaten, but that wasn't the case with Ahmad. Bullshit, Areola. Bullshit. You know what? Just for that, Areola, you lying fucking sack of... Just for that, you're out of contention for the manager job. Fuck off. You're not coming to United. Get the fuck out, man. Are you... Bro, I'm watching the replay here. The defender was beaten. Okay, he's not the last man. Okay, like per se, maybe Harry Maguire would be in that situation. But the defender, your defender, was beaten, and he ended up behind Ahmad and grabbed his arm from behind with two hands. So, I don't know, Areola. You gotta go watch that one back because you're fucking wrong. Totally wrong. Totally wrong. Lucky. A 7 points clear of what? We're not 7 points clear. First of all, we're only 6 points of Liverpool. Okay? And they still need to play. So, and then Villa, we are 4 points, and they still need to play. If Villa win, they're going to be right up our ass with 1 point. So, and Liverpool, if they win, they'll be 3 points off of us. So, we are not 7 points clear. So I don't know what you're talking about. He's such a snail. Eid ul Fitr, and Eid ul Adha are the two holiest days of the Muslim calendar. The correct greeting is Eid. Oh, okay. Eid Mubarak, brother. Okay. That one I've heard, all right? Eid. I've heard of Eid. I just don't, I'm not familiar. But fair play. And I've Eid Mubarak I've heard of. So, yes, Eid Mubarak. Nobody's catching us. Well, I'm glad you have that confidence, Lucky, but that's definitely not the situation that we have at hand, okay? If Villa win, all right, they will be 1 point right up our ass. And if Liverpool win, they will be 3 points right up our ass. So they can certainly both catch us. There's 7 matches left in the Premier League for us specifically. There's 8 for them. So we are 7 points clear of 6th place. Am I doing the math wrong? Oh, of 6th place. All right, fair point. Top 5 gets us UCL. Yeah. Okay. All right. I guess. I'm looking at it like because I just want to be up there. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to go back into 5th. I'm just looking at it like, but yeah, I guess you guys are right. You're right. All right. Fair play. My mistake. From that standpoint, yes. And I'm not, and from that standpoint, I'm not worried about Chelsea. I've been saying this for like 3 weeks. Chelsea have like the hardest schedule to the finish to the Premier League. Like they're in deep shit. They're in deep shit. Like they're not. Chelsea are not gonna make it. Out of all the teams, the way it stands right now, Chelsea are not gonna make it. And I mean, okay, but I will go back to my earlier point. Just to say, we are 7 points, but Chelsea do have to play. So, if Chelsea win, then we're only 4. Okay? So, I'm looking at the table right now. Chelsea have 48. We have Liverpool at 49, Villa at 51, and we have 55. So I don't really. Yes, we're 7 points clear, but the way I usually operate is I factor in all the points. I factor in all the points. I used to do it when we used to win the leagues. I used to do the same. Like for example, this situation right now, but like we used to be in a couple times. Okay, Arsenal have 31 points, 31 matches played and 70 points, and City have 30 games played on 61 points. I personally, what I always used to do and still do, is that I factor in 3 points. I automatically give the team 3 points because that's worst case scenario, and you expect them to get 3 points. So I always factor in the 3 points. I used to do that for when we were like, battling neck and neck for the league titles, and we had a game in hand. I'd be like, well, we're not 5 points, we're 2, because I'm giving them the win before they get the win. That way, if they lose, it's much better scenario. But don't count your chickens, before the eggs hatch type of thing. I always do that. City aren't playing this week. No, because they are playing Arsenal for the Carabao Cup final. So they will not be playing Premier League matches. Villa versus West Ham is easier said than done. Nuno will put a stake through Dracula's heart. Well, hopefully they could do us a bit of a favor, since we, kind of got a bit fucked over, and we also couldn't help ourselves either. Chelsea are away to Everton. Moises will take care of them. Well, hopefully. But, I don't really like the fact that we have to leave it into the hands of people that is not ours. So, and we had our opportunity. And, we half blew it, half got robbed, I would say. Let's hope they both lose the final. Wow. I mean, I guess probably at this point, just give City the Carabao Cup final, because here's what's gonna happen. If Arsenal win the league, which they seem set on doing so, yeah, and I think that they won. Like, I don't think that they're gonna not win it. Yeah, like, to me, they've already won it, right? So they're gonna win the Premier League. If they win the Carabao Cup as well, I'm gonna have to listen to them talk about we did a double, and it's like, all right, shut up. Like, we get it. You guys haven't won shit in like forever, so like, it's exciting double for you, but no. The double is Premier League FA Cup. Do that one first. And then if they do fucking if they win the FA Cup, the Premier League, and the Carabao Cup, they're gonna come with this treble nonsense bullshit. We don't need to hear that either. Alright, take your one Premier League trophy in your last like 20 something fucking years. Go be happy with that. We don't care. Stop City from winning it, because they've won too many and too many times. Arsenal could have their fucking one. All right. What they absolutely cannot get is the Champions League. They are not allowed to have a European trophy. We cannot, we cannot let that happen. But I'm getting sidetracked. Okay, I'm getting sidetracked. This is discussion for another time. Michael Carrick said maybe he sent off Harry, and that was the right decision. It doesn't really bother me. I haven't reviewed the incident, to be totally honest. If he sent them off and found himself one-on-one with the goal, I can understand that decision. So I'm not going to say we deserved everything, but it shouldn't have happened, because we should have had another penalty, and the match would have been totally different. And you know what? Just to bring this back up, listen. The non-penalty... the penalty that wasn't given to us by Ahmad, okay, that sequence led directly to a goal. Now, from a defensive standpoint, we had to do much better, and we didn't do good enough, okay, defending that goal, all right, and they scored from it. But yet again, and this was probably, I forgot to mention this, but if you give that penalty, that sequence doesn't happen, they don't score that goal. So, we got like double fucked there. We got double fucked. We got fucked again later. All right. And I was sort of saying that as well. You know, when we ended up going and scoring from the corner, I was like, well, I felt kind of justified because I was like, well, we got robbed the penalty. And so it was a bit of like poetic justice that we took a corner and it hit your fucking player's head and it went into your own goal because I was like, we should be in the lead. But then I was sitting there and I was like, well, that doesn't really justify it because we've given them a goal. And in actuality, the scoreline should have been 2-0 instead of 2-1. And instead of being up by 1 goal, we should have been up by 2 in that situation. So that non-penalty, that no call on the penalty, because I keep saying non-penalty, but it is a penalty. That no call, I think, majorly fucked a large part of the game. You know, and massive implications. We should have had 2. Because you say we scored penalty. Listen, we could have missed the penalty, but we just fucking scored 1. And I would bet every day on the week for Bruno Fernandes to score it again. So we probably would have been up 2-0. And I think the game is different, goes completely different about that. The whole thing. The whole thing from that point, from that standpoint. Maguire's red card was an obvious, if we're going to be honest, Ahmad's was a stonewall penalty, but they scored because our lads switched off. No, listen, I agree. We switched off. They can't do that. You know, Brown says Buddy kicked the ball out of play and then complained to the ref, and I agree. And then, you know, they did switch off 100%, and they should have never. But also, I think you can make a fair argument to say, well, also in that, if the penalty was given, which I think it should have been, that sequence doesn't happen. Now, maybe they would have scored somewhere else. Maybe we would have been switched off somewhere else and they would have scored, but we don't know. But all I'm saying, in that exact instance, we didn't get a penalty. Lads switched off. They scored a goal on us. And when they VAR'd it, I was like, well, I think VAR, you're going to look at that. The penalty should be given, their goal should be cancelled, and it should be brought all the way back. It's going to be a bad look for the fucking sport because you just had a whole play happen in which you didn't give a penalty, the other team scored, and now you're going to cancel their goal to give us a penalty, and then we're going to score. And that's sort of a shitty look for football. That's not our problem. You guys set it up like this. You set up the VAR. You set up these shitty rules. Okay? We didn't fucking ask for this. We didn't ask for any of this. You guys made it, and it's been sort of a shit show ever since it's come in. And Maguire's red card was an obvious. Listen, sure, but it's just like you can't not give a penalty for Ahmad and then give one to Maguire. So it's just like, where's the balance in it? Is my whole thing. He was through on goal, and Harry didn't even try to play the ball. Listen, I'm not arguing that. No, listen, I understand that the goal happened because our players switched off. But what I'm saying is, if they made the proper call, that doesn't even happen. So I think both can be true. I don't think it's one or the other. I think both are true. Because I think if you make the penalty call, well, our players, that sequence doesn't happen. They don't get the ball, they don't go up, our players don't switch off in that moment, and they scored in that moment. So if you give a penalty, that none of everything that happened after we lost the ball doesn't happen. So I think both can definitely be true. Because they shouldn't be switching off. And it could have been a scenario where it definitely 100% wasn't a penalty. And it could have been in a different scenario, and we switched off. You can't be switching off. And they scored because we did switch off, and we didn't do good in defense. But all of that shouldn't even have transpired because the penalty should have been given. Maguire did fuck all to defend ref shit. It was a red. Listen, I think it was a foul. Okay? I still say the one on Ahmad was worse than Maguire's. The only difference is that Maguire was sort of, once you beat Maguire, there's nobody behind Maguire. Or there's nobody, like, in the space behind him. So, essentially, he's through on goal. Okay? But I think the contact on Ahmad's was worse than actually what Maguire did. But in my opinion, they should both be penalties. They should both be fouls. They should both be penalties. But that's not how it went. It didn't go like that. Remember Zlatan getting sent off for elbowing Tyrone Mings. And the ref ignored Mings' blatant stamp on Zlatan's neck. This feels like deja vu all over again. Well, I mean, this shit happens all the time, and it's just like, it's just trash. What's going on here? I'm trying to find the quotes. Carrick said, "I can't get my head around it. I think it's crazy. It's a bit baffling." I think on the Ahmad decision. And this is pretty much taken over the whole game. This is all everything's talking about. Areola's full of shit. Listen to Areola. Areola, you know what? How about this? How about you stay at Bournemouth, okay? No Manchester United job for you anymore after this bullshit, okay? Areola said, "The Ahmad penalty, I don't think is a penalty. There is no contact." Hey, he said there is no contact. No contact. Really? You need fucking glasses, bro. We gotta get you to Specsavers or some shit. I don't know. You got no ojos. Like my friend Danny says. You ain't got no ojos, bro. There was no contact. Alright, this guy either has dementia, or he's blind, or he's fucking both. Because there was definitely 110% fucking contact, so right there he's lying. Or he's just full of shit. He says there is no contact, and he goes to the floor very light. Yeah. We complained also about the first half. 2 hands behind the back, Maguire on Evan Nielsen, but I don't think it's enough in the same way to call a penalty. Yeah, that wasn't the same fucking shit, broski. That wasn't even the same. That wasn't even the same thing, dude. Wasn't even the same. Wasn't even close. Wasn't even close. All right, Ariel, you're full of shit. No United job for you. Fuck off. You're off my list. I'm done with you. I'm done with you. It's just one of those days, man. We go again in 23. Jesus, it's like we're gonna have to. It's like we're doing preseason all over again. It's like we're starting a new season. Bruno had this to say. He said, "I know it's difficult for the referee to give 2 penalties to the same team, but I don't understand why VAR doesn't do anything." Bruno, because VAR is there to match fix in real time. VAR is not there to help you or anybody. VAR is there so they can match fix, so that they can, for the gambling, for the money. Okay, so they can match fix it in real time. That's what VAR is there for. VAR is not there to help anybody. Okay, VAR is there so that they can match fix the game in a way that they need to match fix it. It gives them more control. All right, in match fixing, they can point out specific instances or times, and they can choose to do whatever they want, because a little man in a box somewhere with a bunch of screens that nobody's going to see and nobody's going to fucking talk about and nobody's going to pay attention to is going to essentially rig the game, okay? And then after the game, people are just going to bitch and moan between each other, and, they'll call out the referee, but nothing ever happens anyway, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, VAR doesn't do anything because that's what VAR is supposed to be. VAR is there. It's not to do anything for you, okay? It's there for the powers that be, for the gambling match fixing, okay? Maguire on Instagram said, so soft, but that's where football is at the moment. I should know better. You would think both decisions would reach the same outcome. We will be back after the break. Safe travel home, Reds. Your support has been unbelievable. Yep. Terry Flew is saying Carrick and Bruno Fernandes need to go in harder on the refs. Remember, you can call them cheats like Rodri and not get banned. That's right. That's right. We should be calling them cheats. Although things tend to be different if you have a red shirt and a blue shirt. Okay, if you have a blue shirt, money hit the bank from offshore account from fucking Saudi Arabia. So I think Roger can call him a cheat. I think if Bruno Fernandes said the referees are cheats, I think Bruno's getting a fucking 17-game suspension, and they're probably going to hang him in the middle of, fucking London or something, right off of Big Ben. They'll literally fucking hang him in real time for saying that. But, Rodri, he's allowed to do it because he's, fucking Manchester City. They could just do whatever they want. Both sides deserve pens. Well, that's what I kind of say. But then, here's the thing for me. I don't even care if you don't. It's either nobody gets a pen or both get pens. That's it, and that's the end of it. But it can't be one or the other. You can't give a pen and then you can't not give a pen and then give a pen for basically the same shit. All right. So it's either both pens or no pens, and he set the precedent, or they set the precedent with not giving a pen. So that one shouldn't have been given a pen. That's it. That the precedent for that match was set when when VAR and the referee did not give the penalty on Ahmad. So therefore, using the same logic with the same referee and the same VAR with the same sort of calling for the game, you then can't give that one as a penalty. But you already set the precedent for the match of what you're going to deem as a penalty or not a penalty. And that's where I have my problems. What else do we got? Areola's a cheat, man. This guy's full of shit. Areola's full of shit. Said there's no contact. There's no contact. Yeah, we were robbed. We were robbed. Listen, doesn't excuse our bad performance. Doesn't excuse us playing very sloppily, but we were fucking robbed. Okay, because Bournemouth. Okay, maybe they put a little bit more pressure on us. Maybe they, in the second half to before the red card, they got a bit more possession, and maybe they played decently well. But again, the way I look at the match, that first goal, both at fault, can't turn off. But also, we should have had a pen. We should have been up 2-0. And then they get a pen on the second one, tied up 2-2. They didn't even fucking actually score. We got a bit lucky because Alex Scott, that should have been a goal. On that one. But no. The match result was determined by basically refereeing and not by the outcome between two teams playing each other and one beat the other one. Doesn't give us a clear... I'm just looking at people respond. Doesn't give us a clear penalty on Ahmad to make it 2-0 and allows their equalizer to stand. It gives Bournemouth a penalty for a similar foul, albeit with less contact, by Maguire, and sends him off. Yep, PGMOL and VAR are abysmal. And they fucking are. They are. They absolutely are. And I guarantee you, okay, when they do their little bullshit review show that they do, okay, I guarantee you, from like a week from now or something, they're gonna come out and be like, yeah, they should have given the penalty on Ahmad. It wasn't right that you gave one, not the other, whatever. That doesn't help us. That doesn't change anything. It's not like we get the fucking points back. It's not like they add a goal on to the game, to the score line. I think we did all right at the end after the red card as well to sort of hold out, okay? In terms of, you know, we were a bit shaky already before we went down to 10 men. So the fact that we sort of were able to just dig in and ultimately not concede a fucking third and get 0 points, you know, that side is, I guess, a bit of a small positive there. All right. I think we managed the situation well. And I think they finished the match as strongly as we could, being at the disadvantage that we were. They kept their cool to a certain degree. And I guess they kept the... I guess they didn't let the game necessarily slip further than it definitely could have. Somebody said, decision no penalty because they've already had one. Yeah. They couldn't give us a second pen because we already got one. You can't get more than one, you know, even if, like, somebody fucking kung fu kicks you into the forehead. Oh, what's that? Oh, you already got a pen? Oh, yeah, sorry, we can't give you another one. Yeah, everybody only gets one per match, yeah. That's how that works now. That's how that works, by the way. Everybody only gets one penalty. You're only allowed one. Doesn't matter what happens. You can literally decapitate somebody on the fucking pitch. Oh, you already got the pen. Sorry, mate. Sorry. Sorry. Funnily enough, Carrick was asked on Kobe Mano and Harry Maguire new contract talks, and he said, all he said was, I'm not getting involved on that. Okay. I think he's quite pissed about the result and the performance, yeah. Carrick said, I'm disappointed to not have won the match after leading, but given the circumstances, 10 against 11 during extra time, we hadn't seen in a while. We managed the situation very well. The lads finished the match strongly. I would like to see the Maguire one back. Just again, because I've seen ours. Carrick on Stuart Atwell. He said, I haven't spoken to him. That's for VAR to deal with after the game. There's no point. Well, there is a fucking point because, I mean, with that attitude, they'll just keep doing the same shit that they've been doing all season. And they fuck up games and they fuck up matches for people and teams and points, okay, which can have an indication, all right? You know, if somebody did the statistics over a course of a season of how many shitty calls VAR has made throughout the season and how many of that have directly impacted points to specific teams, I mean, that could definitely have, an impact on the team. That could be the difference between fucking getting relegated and staying up. So it's not just about us. It's for the whole fucking league. Evidently, because it might not happen to you one week, but it'll happen to you another week. And it might not happen to you in 1 month or one period, but it'll happen to you somewhere else. And it could happen to you in a period that means a whole fucking lot. You know what I mean? It could happen to you. It could have an impact on a title decider. It could have an impact on relegation decider, which is fucking, massive. And you don't want these things having that impact. So I disagree with Carrick there. I think Carrick United need to actually go make sort of a bigger story about this and be like, hey, listen, that was fucking shit. And sort your shit out. And then, call them out for it. Jamie Redknapp, of course, this is the people. Like, Jamie Redknapp is like the one, that's against us on Ahmad's penalty shout. It would have been really harsh. He does manhandle him, but I don't think it's enough. Shut the fuck up, Jamie Redknapp. Shut up. That's it. He's one guy. I can't stand him. He fucking he's one of those that, his ass is where his mouth should be. Put it that way. His ass is where his mouth should be. Carrick says there are enough people to standardize the decisions. If one isn't a penalty, the other isn't a penalty. Well, I think we're all fucking clear on that. I mean, Somebody's saying on a positive note, I think Mark Goldbridge has said on a positive, I signed Truffert. Very good left back defensively and offensively. I'm kind of sick and tired of this shit. All right? We play against somebody, they have like a good match against us, and they're like, oh, we need a left back. He's very good. Sign him up. And I'm just like, fucking boring. We've been doing this shit for seasons now. They play a game against us. Hey. How about this, Mark? I'll tell you this, okay? I'll ask you this. Where was your Truffert opinion fucking 6 weeks ago? I've never heard you or seen you mention Truffert as a left-back option for Manchester United. Not once. Except for today, because he played against us, and he played a good game. So now that he's played against us, and he's played a good game, now that means that he is the correct player for Manchester United, yeah? That means that he will fit our squad, and he will be able to handle the pressures at Manchester United, and he'll be a good signing for us, yes? I can't stand that shit. I can't stand that shit. He's not the only one that doesn't. I'm not specifically saying it to him. I'm just saying in general, can't stand that shit. People watch a game of football. Some guy has one good performance against us. Somebody that they've never thought to mention that United should sign, and all of a sudden now they're an excellent signing for United. Yeah. I don't want to fucking hear it. Bruno says when we get results, we're cheered. When we don't, we're criticized, as it should be. That's part of being a Man United player, as he says. The expectations are very high. A lot of people have their eyes glued to the club. Yeah, that's right. And also, I would say, Bruno, not only do a lot of people have their eyes glued to the club, but a lot of them, not Manchester United fans, but, the other ones, okay, so to speak. A lot of them, they'll never admit this, but they have their lips glued to our ass, okay, as well. Because we live rent-free in their fucking head. So, what else do we got? Carrick, haven't spoken to him. Carrick on the decision not to award a second penalty to Manchester United. After that, they scored, and the game turned chaotic. We should have had another penalty. It would have completely changed the match. I do agree with that. It still doesn't excuse that we turned off. Okay? We should be playing like they taught me when I was a kid. You play till the whistle. You don't fucking stop. You play until the play is dead. Okay? Till the ball is dead. Till it goes out of bounds. Till there's a whistle is made, whatever, till the play is stopped, you play. We didn't do that. Okay? At the same time, we have we were right to bitch and complain because it should have been a pen, but you cannot switch off like that. And I was making that point to what Carrick was making. The pen is given, none of that happens. So, yes, they shouldn't have switched off, but that shouldn't even have come about. That would have never even have happened because the pen would have been given. We would have taken the pen. 95% chance we score the pen. We go up 2-0, and then who knows the play of game, how it transpires after that. Maybe we fall asleep and they score a goal anyway, and maybe fucking not. But we'll never know now because we got robbed of that opportunity. We got robbed of that version of events. Carrick on the progress made under him. He said, I think we've made some improvements. There are things we can improve on, and we can get a lot better. I agree 100% with Michael Carrick. He said, I'm happy with the way things have gone, but we're not satisfied. We definitely want more. I sort of like that. He says, I'm happy with the way things have gone, but we're not satisfied. And, I mean, happy and satisfied kind of almost mean the same thing, a similar thing, but I get what he's saying. And that's kind of what I've been saying. Like, listen, the results have improved. Some, certain aspects of in the way we play have improved. We're not perfect. We need to do more. We need to improve more. We can get a lot better. We're going to have to get a lot better. And they definitely cannot be satisfied because it's not their job to be satisfied. That's for us to be satisfied. We're allowed to be complacent as fans. We're not playing the matches. We're not coaching. When you're a player and when you're a manager and when you're part of the coaching staff, you can't be complacent. We're fans. We're allowed to be complacent. That's our job. Our job is to be crazy, psychotic, insane, level-headed, passionate, die-hard, whatever it is. We're allowed to be all those things. We can be level-headed one moment and we could be completely off of our head, 10 minutes later. That's what we do. All right. The players never allowed to do that. The manager and, those people never allowed to do that. So, J Panda Flow says the double standard of referees is appalling. The English referees are shit. The league is in trouble. Yeah, they better figure it out, man. I don't know what they got to do, but, they got to figure it out, man. They got to figure it out. It's not a good look. Not a good look. To be fair, right? I think, basically, almost any fan of any league, right? That, whether, if you watch La Liga or you watch the Premier League or you watch Serie A, whatever fan you are, I'm pretty sure all the fans pretty much say a similar thing. That the refereeing is shit. The level of refereeing is shit. There's corruption. So I don't think it's like, even if it's the case in England, what I'm trying to say is it's not just specifically to England. It's not like, the Serie A or the La Liga are like, they don't got no issues of their own. It's just that England maybe had a better standard at one point and it's definitely dropped. And yeah, I don't know what they're going to do about that, but they got to fix that shit. They got to fix a couple things. I think they need to change some rules. They need to change some things surrounding how VAR works, and the way VAR is used. Like I said, for me specifically, I think, number one, there should be way more transparency with VAR. We should be hearing and seeing everything that VAR does. We should be seeing what they're looking at. We should be hearing the contact in real time, live. Okay? We should be hearing what the VAR room referee, what the VAR referee is saying to the on-field referee. We should be hearing the discussion. We should be hearing the cause. We should be hearing the reason. We should at least be knowing what the fuck is going on while it's happening. At the very least. That might not fix them making a bad decision, but, like, it at least, like, makes it less sus. Okay? It makes it less suspect. Because right now, it just feels very, like, it goes to VAR, and it's just like, all right, how are they, it's almost like, okay, what angle are they looking at it to fuck over whatever team they decide they want to fuck over. You know, how are they going to fuck up this match for one team? That's how it feels to me. Mason Mount just come little 92 minutes. Mazawari just want to get on the bench, get fit. Eric, what doing Buemo? Like change position. That's the only thing to do. Atletico Madrid for Barcelona, and they won. VAR ruled that the contact wasn't enough to be considered a foul. And that's what the Premier League Match Center said on Amad Diallo, and I think that's fucking crazy. You know, we lost a crucial 3 points today. We didn't necessarily help ourselves, but I think we were fucking definitely robbed. And I don't agree with it. And we lost one of our defenders as well. So. Alright, bro. Mic up. VAR. And have financial penalties for VAR errors. Have a good weekend, bro. Yeah, you too, Renoso. See you on Discord. Yep, buddy. Have a good weekend, everyone. Yep, be good, man. Thank you for stopping by. Have a good weekend. Real quick, I'm going to get out of here as well because it is getting absolutely late, and it must be late for some of you out there, okay? So, just real quick, let me have a look because I need to have a look at the sketch. All right. The Carabao Cup is on a Sunday, yeah? So, the final. I don't want to, I clearly, obviously don't want to stream during there. So, we will be, I'm not going to tell you what day we're going to go live. We'll be live just sometime in the next 3 days, okay? I don't know, but, any of the days, okay, be on the lookout. I'll try to give you guys a heads up, okay? As best as I can. If you're in the Discord, you'll know. If you're not in the Discord, it's a little bit harder for me to reach you because I got to do it through a YouTube community. And sometimes you see the posts and sometimes you don't. It's just the way it works on YouTube. Nothing I could do. I wish I could at all the subscribers so they can basically get the message, but not YouTube doesn't let me do that. So yeah, I don't know exactly what days we're gonna go live, but if we are gonna go live, they will be at 8:15 p.m. UK time. Okay, so over the next 3 days, I'm not gonna guarantee the day, but you know, just sort of be on the lookout. Also, I mean, a good way is if you have the notifications on for the channel, okay, 30 minutes before each live starts, you will get a notification that the live will go live in 30 minutes. So that's also another way that you can sort of stay on top of stuff. So that's why we tell you to put the notifications on. It's not like, you know, I don't get paid for that. It's just so people see the show and don't miss the channel because I want people to be here and be part of the conversation. So, yeah. So, I mean, what am I looking at here? Yeah, I think we'll probably do like a Saturday, a Sunday. Maybe we'll take a Monday off. Okay, so I just don't know if it's gonna be tomorrow or Sunday. I kind of am leaning more towards Sunday. Okay, I'm leaning more towards doing the stream on Sunday than tomorrow. We'll see how I feel about it tomorrow. I got some things I got to do as well, so we'll see. But yeah, just 8:15 p.m. UK. You know, if you're not in the UK or you're in some other place, you know, do the conversion. But I do it in UK because we started off with some UK viewers and it was the easiest for them to sort of convert it. So, but other than that, listen, everybody, thank you for tuning in. Unfortunately, we couldn't go on this long period of, you know, 24 days without a match, or you know, with a win. With the full 3 points and riding out high, and you know, we've had to fucking basically deal with VAR controversy, and basically getting robbed out of it. So, yeah, listen, it is what it is, but we will return. We're going to have a long period of sort of no matches, so it's going to be a bit weird. We're not going to be able to do, match reactions or recaps or anything like that. I'm sure news is going to be, transfer news and rumors and stuff like that's going to be flying at some point. So we'll be doing that stuff and covering that throughout the time. So yeah, it'll be good. Shout out to everybody that smashed the like button. Greatly appreciated. Thank you to everybody that tuned in and got involved in the live chat. And, even thank you to the ones that were just watching in the background. Okay, we appreciate you very much as well. Again, shout out to Sanchi for the super chat earlier. We greatly appreciate those. And top fans today of the show, Mr. Reynoso at number 1. Why we don't have a number 2, I don't know, but it says number 3 is Lucky. And number 4 is Sadiq, which I guess is number 2 and number 3. I don't know why there is no number 2, which is weird. But okay. Those are our top 3 ranked from the YouTube. Yeah, I wish we got the full 3 points. We'll look to the weekend to see, and maybe we'll do the show on Sunday after sort of all the matches, because what is it? Villa play West Ham on the Sunday, okay, and Liverpool play tomorrow. So yeah, we'll see. I think I'm leaning towards the Sunday. Just be on the lookout at the time, all right? Best and possible way, and we'll sort it out. We do go live a couple times throughout the week, so the days are just a little bit, random, but the time is always the same, always 8:15 p.m. UK time. So everybody have a good weekend. Stay safe if you're going out or whatever. Have fun. If you're going out, have a beer for me or whatever you're drinking. Take a shot. Greatly appreciate it. But stay safe, be good, enjoy yourselves. Have a good Friday evening, or maybe it's Saturday morning for you. And we'll see each other soon. We'll speak very soon. And take care. And thank you for all the support. Again, appreciate it.